It's Carabao Cup final time this Sunday at Wembley Stadium, Manchester City v Tottenham Hotspur. I've been previewing the game with former Spurs and England goalkeeper Paul Robinson. Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well, courtesy of William Hill, the channel sponsors. I've been talking to former Tottenham and England goalkeeper Paul Robinson all about the Carabao Cup final this Sunday coming against Manchester City at Wembley Stadium. Of course, Paul Robinson was our last goalkeeper that lifted a trophy for Spurs back in 2008 when we beat Chelsea 2-1 at Wembley Stadium after extra time. I've also been talking to Paul Robinson about the fans being back in the stadium at Wembley this Sunday, Jose Mourinho, trophies in general, the defence, who is the best defender of the club, our opponents on Sunday, Manchester City, Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, and the possibility of Hugo Ruiz finally lifting Tottenham a trophy after 13 long years. Hi everyone, just before you watch this interview with Paul Robinson, I would just like to say that there are a number of references to former Tottenham head coach Jose Mourinho. This was recorded on Friday, and of course Jose Mourinho was sacked by Tottenham Hotspur Football Club on Monday the 19th of April. Paul, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for coming on. Now, days away is the Carabao Cup final. Manchester City will take on Tottenham Hotspur. Now, 13 years ago, you were part of our last trophy success in 2008. Take us back to that day. What did it mean to the club and what did it mean to you personally?
Oh, it's a long time ago, isn't it? 13 years ago. When you talk about it like that, but it's still so vivid in my memory. I mean, it's something, an old cliche, but you dream of as a kid. But the more special for me, the rapport that I had and that I have with the Spurs fans, to give them something back for my time at the club. You know what silverware means to this club. You know that this club has been starved of it in recent years, none more so than of late times. But it was pretty similar back in 2008. It'd been a while since we'd won anything, and at the time we were languishing in the bottom half of the league. One day Ramos had come in, results weren't going particularly well, and we went into that cup final as huge underdogs. It was obviously a difficult time for the club in the league, but it was just a huge burden lifted off your shoulders for me. As much as it was delight and happiness, it was relief more than anything as well. Because I wasn't playing particularly well before the cup final. Confidence was low with the new manager there. I've been in and out of the team, but I got put back in the team in the final, and I just felt that was my time at Tottenham to do something, to climb the stairs at Wembley, lift the trophy, and the first thing I wanted to do was get the trophy and go and share it with the fans, and almost give them it back, because you appreciate as a player what the fans do for the team, and nobody appreciated it more so than me. And it was just a really special time.
Paul, of course, in this Carabao Cup final, a couple of days away, there will be fans allowed back into Wembley Stadium. Do you think that will have more of an impact on Tottenham perhaps winning this competition?
I think football's been different without fans, and I think Spurs always, they're going to miss their following, such a huge following. And I think to allow fans back to Wembley, it's not before time. I think football's been starved of its fans for too long. I think there was other ways that fans could have come back sooner, but we have to live by rules. The following that Spurs always have away from home as well as at home is phenomenal, and I think it will have a big impact on them in the cup final. Yes, without a doubt. And it's just fantastic that they can be there to hopefully see the trophy being lifted. Because, like you said in your first question, for 13 years, that's a generation. That's not just a few years. That's a generation. That's young kids turning into adults and not having any kind of trophy or silverware in their time as a Spurs fan. So for people like that, and for Spurs fans to be in the stadium and to be able to see a trophy being hoisted will be something special.
I think everyone who watches this channel on a regular basis is hoping that Tottenham win this trophy just to shut me up, because I mention trophies every single day. And 13 years, Paul, can you actually believe it's been that long? And what do you think the problem is in getting Tottenham over that line in this period of time?
Listen, I don't know. If I knew that, I'd be the manager. I think Pochettino did an excellent job, and I think where he brought the club to, he just couldn't get them over the line. I was surprised as anyone. It's the timing of his sacking, and that he was sacked, in all honesty. because Champions League final, the envy of Europe. Most teams want to be in the Champions League final, and they've come so close on so many occasions. I think possibly when things started to change, when Martin Jol came in, my generation was the building block, the foundation for huge change, if you like, and small blocks were put on small blocks, and it took a long time. And I think Pochettino got the club to a level where they've not been for a long, long time, competing among Europe's best, competing at the top of the league, looking in Champions League every year. And now you look where the club is. Champions League's almost a must now with the new stadium, the facilities that the club have got, the players that they've got, and competing for trophies and for league titles is where the club want to be and should be. As to why they haven't won anything for so long, I don't know. I can't put my finger on that. They've obviously not been good enough in games that they should have and wanted to have won. But they've got a real opportunity now. I think the squad that they've got is the strongest they've ever had. I think when you've got everybody fit, you put the starting 11 on the pitch, they can beat anybody in Europe. And I know it's been a difficult season. And I know, that the manager gets criticism at times, the players get criticism at times for the style of play and for the results. But I think you have to give the manager time. It's work in motion. And the players that they've got, certainly the squad they've got in the final 2/3 of the field, is up there with the best in the Premier League.
Paul, at the moment, you mentioned Jose Mourinho there. At the moment, the fans are very mixed about him. Now, if you want a manager to get you over the line in a cup final, surely it is Jose Mourinho. And surely this is the reason why Tottenham made that decision, for someone like him to get us over the line in games like this.
Yeah, I'm a big Jose fan. I'm a big advocate of the manager. I liked him throughout his career. His time at Manchester United, he was obviously tarnished with what happened there. He didn't seem happy, but he still did a very, very good job with the players that he had there. When he first came in, and I was asked the question, about the manager, I just said I hope we get the Jose that they had first time around at Chelsea. And he seems like that. He seems a lot more jovial. We see him on social media. It's only of late where times have been difficult for the team that he's come under criticism. I think he's put together a squad that envies the best in Europe. I think defensively we still need a couple of additions in the summer. It's vital that Harry Kane stays and the manager stays, because if the manager doesn't stay, then it's an overhaul job again. But the squad, the manager, who do you go and get if Jose is not there? You go and get a manager who's like Jose Mourinho. So he's employed for a reason, to win things, to get the club over the line. And still the other day, I'm asked on the TV, what's going to happen at Spurs? How are things going to end up? I'm ever the optimist that top four still isn't out of reach. Yes, the Newcastle game was a disappointing result, but we can still get top four. We can still win the League Cup. People might look at that and go, oh, you're not going to get top four. It's too far. You won't beat Manchester City. But until that's not an option, then I don't think we can discuss anything. I think the manager's been brought in to do a job for a reason. I think he can do that, and I think he's got the players to do that. I just hope in 2 or 3 weeks' time we've got a League Cup under our belt and we've got a few more points in the bag.
Paul, what have you made of Tottenham's season so far? Because, of course, it has been very, very up and down. What would you be saying to the Tottenham fans right now, just to be patient with Jose Mourinho? Because we can, of course, finish the season in a European spot, and we could win this League Cup.
Absolutely. I mean, you make a great point. It could be a fantastic season. You say at the beginning of the season you're going to win the League Cup and you're going to finish in the top four of European place. That's a really successful season. You look at the squad that he's got, you look at the players that are there, and that's where Spurs should be. They should be competing at the top of the league. They're capable of doing that and winning trophies. The manager was brought in for a reason, to get the club over the line, to win trophies and to compete back in Europe's elite, where Pochettino took the club to the semi-final of the Champions League. But then obviously, got sacked because he couldn't get the club to where they want to be. They want to be winning trophies regularly, competing in the Champions League regularly, and competing for league titles. Like you say, it's been an up and down season, but there's still an opportunity for it to be a really successful season. I do think the lack of fans inside the stadium hasn't helped Spurs, because the following that comes, the support that the Spurs fans have is incredible, and it does help the team. I also think that it's helped the manager. It's not put as much pressure on the manager, because fans have a right to vent their opinions and their voices. And I think there's certain times this season when Spurs come off that pitch, it might not have been an easy walk down the tunnel for the manager. So I think in that bit of time, I think that he has to be given time, because the squad is amassed, the players that he has amassed, we've still got a chance of having a successful season. And I think you've got to look at it as a glass half full situation. until neither of those situations are possible. I think it's the next 4 to 6 weeks is going to be very telling.
Paul, I've got to ask you, as a former goalkeeper yourself with Tottenham, Jose Mourinho has made so many changes in that back four this season. I think it's a record number in the Premier League. As a goalkeeper going into these Premier League games or indeed, cup competitions, how do you feel as a goalkeeper with that back four constantly changing?
It's difficult when you play with new players or players that you don't know or you don't know their game. I mean, it's when you're in a squad and the squad's rotated and players are rotated, it generally doesn't affect the relationship between goalkeeper and centre half, because you've been with the players for long enough, you've played enough games behind them, you know them. But you quite rightfully say, that the centre half's been rotated. You don't know from 1 week to the next as to which is going to be his first choice pair. At the moment, Joe Rodon seems to have been given the nod, and I think he's done really, really well since he's come in. But there seems to be no rhyme or reason to selection. You look at Alderweireld and Sanchez. I mean, 1 week they're playing, and the next week they're not even in the squad. So but there's other players like that as well. It's the amount of games that they've got at the moment, the amount of competitions they've been competing in. He's got a clear plan for which players he wants to play in which games, and players do need rests. But in the centre of defence, like you say, there's never a consistent two. And there's never a consistent one with another, if you like, and then the other one goes on the bench. Sometimes they play, sometimes they're not in the squad. But there's only the manager can give you the definitive answer to that question, I'm afraid.
Surely the best possible 11 have to play in this game, though, Paul, and plus, like Toby Alderweireld, as you say, because on this channel I've interviewed so many Tottenham Hotspur fans, and everyone seems to say that Toby is our best defender. So surely he must be in this game.
Toby's the best defender that the club have got, yeah, without a doubt. And he's the best ball playing centre half that the club have got as well. He's able to pick that longer pass when teams press, like Manchester City will do. They'll press high. Toby's got that in his armoury where he can just, play a long diagonal, play a ball further forward, play a ball into midfield that stops that press. But if the manager thinks he's not been playing well, then that's the manager's prerogative. That's why he's the manager. But in my opinion, Toby Alderweireld's the best defender that the club have got. And if he gets a regular run of games now between now and the end of the season, I think it should be him who plays the majority of the games with another one alongside him.
Paul, the $1 million question: how do we stop Manchester City and lift this trophy?
Well, look at Leeds United last weekend. There's the blueprint. As horrible as it sounds, you play counter-attacking football against them. You look at what Leeds United did to them. Leeds are renowned for open, flowing football, attacking teams. They didn't do that, and they were forced not to do that with 10 men. They defended well, and they hit Manchester City on the counter-attack. Yes, it was a huge smash and grab, but you have to invite Manchester City onto you to a certain extent to allow the gaps, and then that exposes their back four. That the amount of quality that Manchester City have got in the final 2/3 of the field, it's there for all to see. But Spurs have that quality on the break. They've got the pace on the break. I wouldn't like to see Spurs sitting too deep, but the way you can exploit Manchester City is by inviting them onto you, let them commit too many bodies forward, and then hit them on the break. With the pace and the forward prowess that we've got. I think going into last weekend, you look at the way that Manchester City have been playing this season. You thought it was almost an impossible task. You thought they were just going to sweep everybody aside, but they showed a lot of defensive frailties against Leeds. They've had a tough Champions League midweek, recently against Dortmund as well. Yes, they played well again, but they showed that they can concede goals. Their weaknesses at the back, and the quality that we've got in the final third, that I can't see us not scoring. So it's the key to us, the success for us is defensive stability.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Harry Kane has been on fire this season. What more can we say about Harry Kane, Paul? Because he just gets better and better every week, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets better. He does get better, and I think you can see the more he adapts his game as well. He's got players that will run in behind. The relationship he's got with Sonny is incredible. There's, you look at the likes of the partnerships over the years, Sutton and Shearer, York and Cole. They're up there with those type of partnerships. Their stats and the figures that they've both got for assists and goals between them is incredible. But Harry knows now that he's got players who are running behind, and he occupies centre halves. He understands a role in the team where he can drop deeper, and he's got other players who will run forward and run off the ball. He'll occupy two centre halves by dropping deeper. His range of passing, his vision. He's the all-round centre forward. He's the all-round number 9. He's one of, if not the best in Europe at the moment. He's going to be a wanted commodity should Spurs not finish in the top 4 or win anything.
Paul, just want to ask you about our goalkeeper and our captain, Hugo Ruiz, obviously a goalkeeper as well, like yourself. You know, he joined the club in 2012, not won a trophy yet in the 9 years. You know, wouldn't it be nice to see him? You know, there's been so much speculation about him possibly leaving the club in the summer. Wouldn't it be nice to see him lift the trophy at last?
Yeah, I think you've got to give Hugo a lot of respect. I mean, it's very, very hard to keep at the top level for any kind of length of time. You look at top players who play in the Premier League, and you look at the length of their career, there's only a certain percentage of players that play all their career at the top level. And Hugo's been able to do that. You know, he's had ups and downs in his form, but I think the beginning of this season, he was back to his best. And I think, you know, he does deserve a trophy. Like you say, 12 years at the club. He's come so close on so many occasions. We know he's got a close relationship with Pochettino. We know he's the French captain, and possibly, you know, if he is looking to move on, that would be an option for him. But I think if anybody deserves a trophy at that place, it's certainly him and Harry Kane. I think the two of them have been talisman, if you like, for a number of years now. And, you know, as much as the fans deserve a trophy, I'd love to see it being Hugo Lloris and Harry Kane walking behind one of the goals and showing it to them after the final whistle.
Paul, if I was to ask you for a prediction of where Tottenham will finish in the league and will Tottenham lift this trophy, what would you say?
Yes, and fourth.
Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic.
I just, you know, I'm an optimist. The quality is there, and I think if we are fortunate enough to lift the trophy, we went into 2008 huge underdogs. I don't think this team are as big as underdogs as we were, and as we've seen, they can beat anybody on the day. And I think it's a snowball effect. If they win the trophy, the confidence that comes with it, you can take into the final 6-7 games of the season, whatever's left. And, you know, the points gap it's not closable, if you like. And I think winning the trophy would have a snowball effect and give us that push to the end of the season.
Let's hope so. Paul, very nice to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time, and come on, you Spurs.
No worries. Nice to speak to you.
Many thanks to channel sponsors William Hill for setting up this interview. Please do check out their website and download their app, and check out all of the betting odds for this game, Manchester City v Tottenham Hotspur, in the Carabao Cup final this Sunday. Anyway, put your score predictions in the comment section below. Let me know all of your thoughts. Predicted starting 11 as well. And can Tottenham get a trophy in the cabinet for the first time in 13 years? It's been a very, very long 13 years. Anyway, enjoy the game on Sunday. I certainly will. Until the next video, come on you Spurs.